All right, guys, big thank you for the start. So our last tutorial, we stopped for this part where we run the preloader and the preloader images completely. So for this particular tutorial now, I'm gonna try to start that other video. Okay, so for this particular tutorial, we go focus on building the app screen itself, which is this particular screen now, all right? So more jump into it quickly. I'll leave this inspect element here just in case I need to handle some stuffs via the inspect element, but we'll carry on. So what I go do now, for us to see that, massive first, hold on, preloader, we set the index of preloader, no. So I might just type rubbish first and must see the effects. Okay, if we delete this one out and the body, okay. In fact, brand come back again. Move the background. Okay. So this app, if we set position to absolute and the index to 999, so the app go there on top, but we don't need to make the app there on top. We need to leave at the back of this preloader, because the preloader go animate out, then this app go animate in. So for now, if we don't like this, or we fit disable the preloader first. So I'll just comment on out. Disable the preloader first, then we get this clean black state now. In fact, I want to make this black here, make it come up the time we do animate finish. So what I could do now, I'll just go my SCSS, then for the body, I will comment this color out first. You get make things the lighter for now. So we'll start to style the app, or we'll mark up the app first. So I'll go back to the app here, I'll delete this rubbish what type here, then I'll create the header. So this header now, we'll give them class app header. So I use 2 underscore there. Then inside the header, we will get a wrapper, and we'll see get a row, then 2 columns. So one column will be for the logo, while the second column now will be for the hamburger button release for that place. So I might just get this anchor tag now, class of logo. Then inside now we'll type, in fact I will see do span here, just the way we do the H1, do I have to explain for this Harley here. We'll do the same thing for this logo. So we'll give span, might break them out so that it will be more readable, and we'll just type Harley. All right, so now for the column, if you observe here, with the video, if you observe, we get 2 lines here, right? So if we use an SVG icon, but I just decide more markup and style. So inside this column now, we'll create a new button that will give them class hamburger. Then inside this hamburger, we'll create 2 span. So this 2 span now, we'll give them class of line. So span dot line times 2. Without just now emit stuff. If you watch my tutorial, you go to see me use them every time, and I get crash course on this emit stuff. I'm probably going to leave link to that crash course for this description, or the description of this video, so that you go still observe and later on you get. So the next thing we need to do here now, we'll just observe. Okay, refresh. So we'll do some markup here and make the thing resemble the header what is for this place. So the first thing I go do inside my main.css now, just after the preloader, I think. Yeah, just after the preloader now, we'll create the style for the app. So I'll come down, I'll type app, and inside this app now, we'll target that header. And inside the header, we'll get a row, and with the target logo, and also with the target the hamburger. Then inside the hamburger now, with the target that line span. So most have to write the codes now or the styles now for these different classes. So the app will set a background color to dark 01, which is this variation. Map collapse this thing so that we'll quickly read it up sometimes here. Which is this second version of the dark here now. Then we'll set the color to white and height to inherit, width to inherit, and position to absolute. So the height now going to inherit, let's see, the height of the app going to inherit this content, which is the same thing as this width and height here, right? Then position to absolute. All right. So now what would I do this one? More observe. Would I get this our app background? So for the header, we'll set padding to 40 pixel. Top and bottom, while left and right will be 0. I might just put box sizing to border box. And for the row, we'll set padding to 0 pixel for the top and the bottom, while the left and the right will be 35 pixels, so that any content will be like, say, will get there and I will give padding for the left and the right hand side, which is something like this. This area here, really, you know. So after that, inside the same row, we'll see set box sizing to border box, and we'll set display now to flex. Then after we set display to flex now, we'll space the two items now, which is the logo and that hamburger now. So to do that now, we'll justify content to space between, no space between, not space around, space between. Then align items to center so that we'll go centralize them now horizontally. Okay, sorry. So the next thing we need to target here, we need to target the logo. And for this logo, we'll just copy this code what we use for this H1, because now close to the same thing. How would you do? So for the logo, we'll not need position absolute, but we'll need color that be white, text transform uppercase, correct, text decoration, gonna be none because the anchor tag. Then the font size could be 24 pixel, not 26. And font weight will set down to 500. Overflow hidden, we'll not need that. Z index, we definitely not need Z index. Then for this span, for now we'll not need this display block. So get uppercase text decoration. And also we need to set display to block. Okay, so display block, text transform uppercase, text decoration none. I think I doubt if that color self go affect anchor tag. So I'm gonna just set color to white. So if we observe now, I see and say our logo will not come up here. So now I'm gonna create these 2 lines. So for the 2 lines for the hamburger, we'll first target the button itself. Then we'll set border to none. Background also will be none. Then we'll set padding to 0. Height will be 35 pixel. Then width 45 pixel. We'll go justify content to center and align items to center. Then flex direction will be column, so that the 2 lines are going to be one after the other. You get, and we'll also set gap between the 2 lines now. So the gap will be 8 pixel. Then set cursor to pointer. So when you hover on the button, I will get that and symbol. I just put overflow hidden here, but we may not need that. But this overflow hidden for animation purposes, if necessary. All right. So after I do this now for the line, we'll set display to block. Then we'll set the height to be 2 pixel. And make the width be 100%. So 100% now going to collect exactly this height of 45 pixel. And we'll set our background color to be white. So if we go back to the code and we'll refresh, what did it happen now? So we'll observe from inspect element. So hamburger, strange. We're not to see the hamburger class, so probably type this somewhere. Hamburger. All right. So we'll get the hamburger here. Then it never say appear properly. So let's see. Wrapper, row, column, hamburger, line. Oh, okay. Display to flex. All right. So we need to set display to flex. So for the hamburger, just before we get all these align items or this justify content, I will set display to flex. All right. So would I get display flex, and now make we move on to this next one, which is the loudest sound you hear will be your heart racing on these buttons here. So to mark up that one, what we need to do here is we'll create a new div just after this, or not even this, in this section. So we'll just create a section after the header. We'll call app CTA. Inside we'll get wrapper, then row and column. So this column inside will create H1 title, and inside the title now we'll get a span. So actually 3 span to represent these 3 things, which is the loudest sound you will hear will be heart racing. So at the drum, because of the animation purpose now, you see you see the 3 they come outside from bottom, so they're individual. You get. So we create one H1 to wrap everything, but inside now span out to target each of these content. So we'll collapse, then back to the markup. So for the first one, we'll type the loudest sound U. Then the second one will be here will be your, and the third one will be heart racing. Okay, so after this title, we'll create a button group. So new div, we'll give the class button group, and inside this button group now we'll create 2 anchor tags. So the first anchor tag now we'll give a class of BTN and primary. So inside this class now we'll just type see what's coming. Then we'll create another anchor tag, class BTN icon. So inside this icon, we'll go put this SVG play button icon, which is this play here. And I'll grab this one now from hero icons. So hero icons, we'll search for play. Then you select solid, copy the SVG. I'll go back to the markup and we'll paste here. Okay. Let's collapse. All right. So most it will get so far. Okay. Most style this thing. So after style, we'll enter the next section, which is the footer area. So just after this header, we'll target the CTA, and inside the CTA, we'll get row. Then column. Inside the column, we'll get the title. Then the button group. So this button group, now inside the button group now we'll get this BTN. And inside this BTN, primary, then icon. Then after the BTN, we'll target the SVG. All right. Column, title, column, title, button group. Button will get BTN. BTN gets 2 variations, the primary and the icon. Then We'll get the SVG still inside this button group block. Yep. We've put the SVG inside the button, but I just want to break them out because why not? So let's start the styling now. So the first thing we'll do here, inside this CTA, we go set a width now to inherit, then padding will be 40 pixel top and bottom, 0 pixel left and right, and we'll go also set position to relative, then padding top will be 140 pixel. Then I'll come down to the row, exactly the same thing we do here. So not exactly sure, but something similar, which is we get this padding top and bottom 0, left and right 0 pixel, then the box size will be border box, right? So we'll do something like this, and not to worry, because I did see a lot of repetitions here, so maybe probably by the end of this old tutorial I could do some cleanup, because then what you need to do after you do develop finish, you need to go over your styles and start to observe where you feel actually clean up some of these codes, what did actually they miss, like probably like a lot of duplicate codes they go on. So how if they use mixing, so just extend some of all these properties so that get to the repeat yourself most of the time. You get. So anyhow, just based for the tutorial purpose, to make sure okay you understand some of all these things properly, right? So we'll carry on. So now after this row, we target the column, and we're not going to style the column at the title now we're concerned about. So for inside the title, we will set our font size to 35 pixel. Then line height will be, let's say, 46 pixel. Then margin bottom to push them out from those two buttons, or the button group rather, 26 pixel. Then we'll set text transform to uppercase. So most it will get so far. All right, so the loudest sound you hear will be your heart raising. Okay. So the next thing we need to do now, we need to target the button group. So for the button group, we'll set display to be flex and align items to center, and the gap between both buttons will be 12 pixels. Then for the actual button, we'll set display to block and text transform. Text transform, not rendering. Text transform will be uppercase. Text decoration will be none, just the basics for anchor tags rather. Then our color will be dark 02. Why would they give the color dark 02? Because the color here needs to match with the color of this background, right? So one would target the individual buttons now, which is the primary. We'll just set the color now to the background color to white, which is this primary what we target here, right? So we'll set font size to 18 pixel. and font weight will be 500. Display to flex, justify content to center, and align items to center. So that would center the text now for the middle of the button. So we'll see, so far we'll get this. You're not going to see any interesting thing yet, but by the time we start to target these individual buttons, you can start to see the whole things that take effect now. So for the individual button, I will set a background color now to white, and our width will be 185 pixel. Then the height will be 75 pixel. So we'll see. Okay, see what's coming. Then for this button icon now, I'll just copy this same code or paste them here, and the background color will set them to dark 02, but the color itself will be white. Then the SVG will set height to 25 pixel. All right. Okay. This is too large. No. Okay. Or they use 85 as well. So it could be 75. Because this one's supposed to be perfect square. Okay. So 75, and our SVG now white. Must see this button too big. The SVG icon too big. So what will we do? More reduce and small. So to reduce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 20 pixel make brain. So we'll leave our 20 pixel. So we'll change our back to 20 pixel. All right. So now we don't get this whole area. So the next part will be like, say we go tidy, go be this footer now. So the footer now will contain, I'm not going to use carousel here because or slider libraries, because this is not supposed to be like slider, like you go animate in, then you go actually slide between all these items, but we're not going to do one like that. We'll just for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll just leave on like that. We'll try to make it exactly, but we're not going to actually drag to slide across. You get, because now just animation are concern us for now. So now for the footer, we will create a footer, and we'll set the class to be app __ footer. Then inside we will create a wrapper. Then inside the wrapper, we'll get the first row. So this first row now will contain horizontal row, which is the H arrow. Then we'll get another row. This other row go be the row for these text sliders. Then while the last row now contain the image sliders. So now for this first row, inside this column, we'll create a div. We'll call them slider. Then another div could be by the side. We'll call them texts. It's like this, slider and text. Then inside, we'll create a div. This div now will be item. And inside this item, we'll get a p tag. So this p tag now will be the loudest sounds. you here will be your last in this studio. All right. So let's see. All right. And now we'll duplicate this one to 2 places again. So the second tag, or the second text will be enjoy the ride to the fullest. Then the third one will be fatter. We'll just use the same tag or the same text. The loudest sound, SOUND. The loudest sound you will hear will be your last in this studio. Okay, so now we get this text, and underneath, not underneath this one, we'll just create another row. So this row, column, slider, images, and dot image for a new div, and this side we'll just call image slash 06 JPG for the first image there. Then we'll just duplicate like 3 more times. So this one will be, we'll use 2, 1, and 4. Okay, so now if we go back, and that'll look fine, but we'll go style them just now. So the first thing we need to target this app footer. So just after the CTA, we'll come down. We'll target the app footer, then we'll set the width to inherit, then position will be absolute because we want to make that footer now say may sit for the bottom of the contents or the app screen. So bottom, I will set bottom to 0. And overflow hidden. So the target row now, set padding to 0, then 35 pixel, and box sizing, border box. So for this, we'll check first, we'll see. All right, you know what? We'll first more comments here so that we will see the effects for this our text sliders first. Okay. So for the edge arrow, we'll set margin to 0, then margin bottom will be 40 pixel, and opacity will be 0.2, so that will be faint, very faint, right? Something like this, very faint. If you use H arrow or let's see first, instead of H arrow self, if you use a span, sets the width, then use border bottom. But more just go with H arrow, so it will depend on how you want tidy this stuff. But for now, this thing will work for what I want to use it for. Then we'll target slider, and inside the slider now, we will set display now to flex, and the gap between each item could be 25 pixel. Then we'll set margin bottom to 40 pixel. All right. So now if we go back, we'll check, we'll get something like this. Now, if you see the designer, these items now that they extend out. So to do this, what do we need to do? We need to set a width now for this particular slider. So if I set the width to like maybe 600 pixel, okay, you see I said they go out. If we take them down to like maybe 500 pixel, okay, either they resemble this whole stuff now. Then we still need to add small line heights for this stuff. But that one another, to add line height to the text now the item itself. Now we go the target, right? So if we target this item or maybe the paragraph tag or when you get the gist. So I just copy this with 500 pixel. So I'll copy this 500 pixel and I go paste at the top here. Then just after the margin button for the pixel, we go target the item. Then we'll set the max width of 155 pixel, and we'll text transform to uppercase. Then we'll set the font size to like 16 pixel. Then line height will be 26 pixel, and opacity could be 0.5. So opacity is 0.5, and we'll make sure say everything I get is fainted opacity, but we will target this first one. Now to target time, now it will just do for this item here. Now if we just add another class, we'll call this class active. Then now that active class will target now to set the opacity back to 1. So it is something like this, active and opacity will be 1. So if we go back, we refresh, we're not going to refresh, I don't refresh us. You see, we'll get this whole item here. But currently these things now, yeah, these things there'll be 2 lines, right? There'll be 2 lines. So to make this thing the exact from now, what we will do here, more break this word for somewhere here. The sound you, okay, enjoy the rights too. So break out for this place on the sound you. Then just copy the same thing. We'll go break them just after. So let's see. We'll increase the width of the slider to like 600. Not really. We'll target. Okay. We'll target this paragraph here. Then we'll add these styles. I'll do text overflow. So ellipsis. Then white space. So no wrap, and overflow could be hidden. All right. So this works. So we'll copy this whole thing and we'll paste them for this paragraph tag we'll target now. Okay, so now if I refresh, we'll not get this whole stuff here. This one, okay, we'll never add the break tag now. We'll never add them for this last guy here. Right, there has to be a smart way to do this thing, but for now, this works for us. So we'll not get these items, the ladder sound, this, and it'll resemble this our design. So the next thing we need to do now to tidy the images. So those images will be like, see, we comment out, we'll bring them back to lights. So I will comment this section, and what we'll do here, just after this item, we'll go target images. Since we'll get this slider and these images together, we'll then target slider. So we're trying to use images now, side by side with slider, right? So slider, we'll collapse this item, and we'll come down, then we'll say and images. So these images now will set margin bottom to 0, then gap go be 0, right? We set gap because this slider now as well, we already said display flex. So display flex now, they affect these images as well. You get the gist. Then we'll target the individual image inside, and we set overflow to hidden. Then width and height will be 130 pixels because I want that to be perfect square. And our image will set height to be 100%. Same thing for the width. So 100%. Then object fits will be cover, and object position will be center. Okay, so if we go back to our design, we'll get some, okay, this thing they look somehow now. Okay, padding, they affect this particular row. I will need them to start from the extreme, which is the go flush for this left side here. So what do we do? If we target this particular third row now, which is this third row, then we'll set padding. We'll say padding left now will be 0. Then you go push them out. So we'll go to the code. So to target that for the code now, yeah, we'll get the row here. Then not even padding left self, just padding in general, we'll just remove them. So what we'll do, we'll target the last child of this row, and we'll set padding to 0. Okay. All right. So now we'll get our effects, and we'll see. We'll get our style rather. So the next thing we need to do now, we need to start the animation. So we'll just go over the animation once more. The way it could be, we'll start from a blank slate. So this is not going to show first. That means we'll start where this solid background will slide in. So when it slide in, this text for the middle will come out. Then just as the background is slides ago, this text now going to slide out as well. Then as they slide out, the first image now, it will show up
And if you notice where the animation be, you see and say, we first scale the images from a bigger version down to the original size as we slide them out. So they do it for all of them. You see? Then when everything slide at finish now, all these items that will go animate everything to view. So we'll target every single item for your animator. This logo go animate in, this hamburger, the two lines go animate, all this H1, all of them go animate. These buttons now, we'll stagger them. One go animate, the other one go animate follow around. Same thing with these text sliders, they go fly in, while the image of button they go stagger in. So when we finish, we'll go wrap up the tutorial there. But more just in this video, I'm gonna carry on. For the next video now, which is the final of this particular series, we'll go tidy this whole animation. So like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't want to subscribe before, just do it based on love you get. And I'll go see you for the next tutorial.